What's up? Hey, hello, everyone. Wow. So, Alyssa and I are here going to be talking about Survivor Season 33, Episode 9, the second episode after the merge. And I mean, overall, Alyssa and I were just talking about this. We thought this episode was sort of predictable uh, early post-merge boot. So, my name is Rachel.
And I'm Alyssa, and I don't know about y'all, but I was really happy with who went home. So I slept well on Wednesday night. So.
Woo. I know, yeah. I think just like Cece's vote out, it was Taylor's time to go home.
Yeah, I feel like Taylor kind of, the beginning of the end for him was when Figgy got voted out, and then it kind of became like a matter of time because we all knew he wasn't going to be able to get his revenge against Adam. So
Yeah, I'm glad he did not. And even after the show, Adam and Taylor are good friends. So it's all good and dandy in the world right now.
everything is happy.
Woo! So, the beginning of the episode, we see like the aftermath of tribal council and stuff like that, and we see Taylor talking about how his secret is like less important than Adam's secret of the actual advantage. So, I mean, Alyssa, what do you think? Do you think Taylor's secret of stashing a shit ton of food away is more leverage or less leverage than Adam's advantage reward?
I mean, I feel like last episode we kind of saw that everyone kind of knew that Taylor was sneaking food. So when, like, if Adam were ever to use that, everyone else would be like, well, duh. So I don't know. I don't think it was Adam's best leverage move, especially because like Adam's reward steal has never been used before in Survivor. It's like a new thing this season. And like people are inherently more afraid of the things that they don't really know about. So yeah.
I feel like I'm like low key opposite of what you just said, because I was thinking that his food thing is more leverage than the actual reward, because I feel like even at tribal we saw like people were more angered maybe by the whole he stashed like 3 things. They didn't know that he stashed that much. They might have just thought he was actually just like eating the stuff and stealing it from the actual mason jars in the trunk. But because I feel like people realize that his whole steal a reward like isn't actually that big of a deal. Like, I don't know, like it doesn't really do anything. It's sort of like a stupid thing. Unlike if he got like a vote steal or something like that, would have been like a big deal.
I feel like for me, it always ended up being a matter of timing. Like the fact that Taylor got the first blow in that whole like secret reveal thing, where he made it seem like Adam was also implicit in that. If Adam had come clean with people and been like, look, Taylor's stealing, I feel like that would have been more leverage. But with the way things panned out, I feel like it ended up being kind of a flop. So
Yeah, I feel that. Like we can talk about it like during the tribal council part too, because it definitely comes up there. But like during this part also, like we just see Taylor eating for a few minutes on freaking camera, and I'm like, SMH, we're wasting so much time of this episode watching Taylor eat food and talk to the camera. It was like low key, like, sort of annoying.
yeah, for me it was just like he was so like he was congratulating himself so much for something that personally I don't think is that big of a deal. Like, wow, you managed to sneak some food away, good for you. A toddler can do that. So I feel like I wouldn't have
And I mean,
minded as much watching him eat if he hadn't been like patting himself on the back the whole time.
yeah, so I mean, I guess that sort of like led to this episode being more about Taylor and his downfall. So like after this, we see Hannah and Jay mending things, and I was like, this is how you mend a relationship at Adam Klein. low-key, like, this is what you should do. I think this is how you should apologize and explain your kind of decisions. We see Hannah and Jay talking, and I was like, go Hannah, we're actually seeing Hannah grow into a player in this game. We are seeing her get more confessionals, and she did have that weird, like, hyperventilating thing at Tribal, which was like, oh, but she did get more confessionals this time with actual strategic beef to it. So I was like, good for Hannah. So she's telling Jay, like, I was going with you guys. Like, if I went with you guys and kept voting with you guys, I'd be a pretty decent GOAT. So Hannah is very, like, aware of her own game, and she's, like, knowledgeable of where she would have stood if she went with the guys.
Yeah, and I feel like self-awareness is a thing that's really important in Survivor, but a lot of people think they're more self-aware than they actually are. So I feel like the fact that Hannah was able to demonstrate that she was actually self-aware instead of just, like, fake self-aware was a good thing.
No, yeah, I think that. And good for Jay, too. Jay is like, yeah, I'm proud of you, Hannah. And I was like, good for them. Like, this is what you should do in this kind of scenario. Like, one person explains, the other person is like, good job or whatever. You don't need to, like, belittle someone or put them down and stuff like that. And during this time, we see, like, Hannah getting that sort of, like, sad, inspirational background music while she's talking about her gameplay and love for the game. And I was like, damn, Jay says he wants to be included in the next vote, which is, like, the exact same thing Hannah said when Michaela got voted out. Like, I don't know. I think Jay and Hannah could work together in maybe, like, 2 or 3 votes if they both make it that far.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that Taylor got voted out kind of makes it a lot easier for Jay and Hannah to, like, begin to mend fences even further, just because now Jay's, like, a right-hand person was voted out. So, I mean, you could argue that he's just going to stick with Will, but right now would be a really smart time for him to, like, flip and work with Hannah now, because he kind of got a big blow to his ego and his alliance with his vote out.
Yeah, I think they, like, Jay and Will, I think next week are probably jumping ship, but I feel like next week, they will be safe. We'll see more of, like, a Gen X kind of battling each other. And I think out of the 3 females left, I feel like Hannah has the best chances of making it to final tribal council.
Yeah, I feel like obviously we've seen, like, Sunday begin to gun for Jessica, and I feel like that's either going to work out or Sunday is going to shoot herself in the foot. So I feel like definitely, like, in the long term, Hannah's the most well-suited to doing well, just because I feel like she also has more meaningful relationships than, like, the other people do, just because everyone's like, oh, poor Hannah, and they kind of want to protect her because she's a little bit of a or she's just
Yeah, I feel that. So, I mean, moving on to the reward challenge, like, without even watching it, we saw the preview on Survivor on CBS a few days before. Like, without even watching this reward challenge, you could see that Chris's team was freaking stacked. So Chris's team had Brett, Ken, David, Sunday, and Taylor, like, some really, really big dudes and strong guys. And then Hannah's team had Adam, Will, Zeke, Jay, and Jessica, like, all, like, the smaller, more millennial guys. And not even watching, you could tell that Chris's team was just better, more physically able. And then we saw it play out, and, David was really fast at getting the key. Adam was a little slower at the key, and the big dudes on Chris's team really helped Chris's team, like, get through that net, because I feel like the smaller guys couldn't, like, push the net up or, like, push the heavy crate as well.
I feel like part of it also is Hannah's strategy might have made more sense if it was something like a puzzle at the end, where having, like, more brains and less brawn might have worked out well for them, but it wasn't a puzzle, and I feel like that's kind of what allows blowout challenges almost, just because puzzles are the great equalizer in Survivor. But
no, yeah. That's like exactly what I commented on someone's like on the video of the reward challenge. I was like, bolos are so easy, you know? Like he got 6 in a row basically, Taylor, and Sunday didn't do anything on this challenge and she got to go on reward. But like the bolos, like you just throw it and it hits the thing. I think like a puzzle would have made it, like you said, less of a blowout and made it more so that Hannah's team could have potentially caught up and they could have won, I guess. But
Yeah, and
bolos,
I feel like bolos, it's like kids play that at parties. It's not really a survivor challenge type thing. So, but it is what it is, and they went on their reward. And I think that for like a reward challenge or a reward, it was kind of boring to watch almost, just because there are some rewards where it's like they go to a really scenic destination or they get to do something that's like a once in a lifetime experience. And I feel like just getting to go someplace to eat and drink doesn't sound that great to us, but it's pretty great for them, I guess.
yeah, it was fun to see all of their nice food because once again, it is better than dorm food. And Taylor once again here mentions about the stolen food. He's like, you know, I might be more capable to eat more because I've been eating, so like I won't get sick. I was like, SMH Taylor, no need to keep on bringing it up. But Brett gets drunk at the reward feast, and then it was like, low key during this time, I was like, Brett, you know, you probably shouldn't get drunk because we've all seen The Bachelor and Bachelorette, like first night when people get crazy drunk and they're usually not given the rose because they were drunk. But I guess it goes to show that people like on the season like Brett, like he's a lovable person because even while he was drunk, which might like push people the wrong way, everyone thought he was funny and like the big dude that is like drunk and not like an annoying dude that's drunk.
I feel like Brett is kind of like Pooh Bear, and it's like everyone thinks it's kind of amusing when he's like when he's like eating honey and stuff. It's kind of like that. Like he's just like a little cute little cuddly guy.
Yeah, and I mean, we see Sunday getting some screen time here also about making moves. So, I mean, good for her. She's getting some screen time and she wants to take out Jessica, which I guess we'll talk about in the next episode part of this podcast.
Yeah, because I have a lot of feelings about that, and most of them are not good feelings.
Uh-oh. I mean, yeah, so I guess like we were saying, reward challenge, food, I mean, they were poolside, but it wasn't really too much like strategy or anything that we see here. No medevacs from eating too much. And during this time, we see Adam and Jay have a little chat in the water. And I mean, I don't know how I felt about this chat.
I feel like it's one of those things where people say that they want to hear it straight, but then they don't actually want to hear it straight. And I don't even know if like that's what Jay asked for, but it's like there's a difference between telling someone the truth and making someone feel like utter shit.
Yeah, and I feel like
Adam does not know that difference.
yeah, I mean, it could have been like taken out of context and stuff as well, but I don't know, this whole just like conversation was just so weird. I mean, basically saying someone is on the bottom. I mean, why would you not want to bring Jay in as like a potential alliance? Because I think Jay would be someone I would want to work with over Taylor.
Yeah, I feel like you said, Jay is definitely the better ally, but I feel like it's one of those things where you also don't want your allies to be better than you. So I feel like part of it might be that Adam feels threatened by Jay, and it's like when you feel threatened by someone, it's a lot easier to just like stomp on them and crush their confidence rather than like let them believe that there's a window into your inner sanctum or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we see Zeke and Hannah saying like they are the ones that want to bring Jay in because he's on the bottom. He could be a vote. And like I mean, I think maybe in the future we could see like a Zeke Hannah J thing taking Adam out.
Yeah, I feel like Adam's definitely in danger just because people like he doesn't really have any strong ties to anyone. Dangerous in a game like Survivor.
Yeah, that's exactly what I put down for my like next time things. That is a part of it. But I mean, I don't know.
No one's going to be gunning to keep him.
Yeah, because he's
Like
not
no one's
really
gonna be
tight
like,
in an
no, I
alliance.
need Adam to go forward with this. So
Yeah, he's not like tight with people like someone like a Chris and Brett or like Ken, David, Jessica are. Speaking of Jessica, we see mom v mom warfare at the beginning of this. And I mean, I am very, very glad Brett and Sunday waited to not vote out Jessica this time, because this vote, there technically were 4 groups of 3 people at this vote. So if they decided to take out their own with Gen X, like the Millennials and the Gen X numbers would have been tied or very similar back. Like, so next episode it would have been like that. So it would have caused like, they could have potentially went back to a Millennial versus Gen X kind of 6-5 split next time. So I'm very glad that they waited, because now now the numbers are equal.
yeah, and I feel like it's not good to vote out one of your own, period, but I feel like it was a good time to wait, like you said, because of the way the numbers fell out.
Yeah, and like just leaving Will, Jay, and Taylor all in the game is very, very dangerous. And while like they would probably be more dangerous than Jessica is, so definitely waiting, because a lot of people do tend to jump the gun on these kind of like emotional things. Like Sunday dislikes Jessica and they have some beef, so they want to vote her out. But I'm glad that they didn't let like the emotional part like make them want to make a move that was too early, like Gen X has been doing pre-merge.
Yeah, so I feel like either the Gen Xers that survived were the ones that play less emotionally, or they've just learned to tone it back a little.
Yeah, and we see Sunday and Jay are very close, so I think we'll probably see them maybe working together next episode or in the future. I think that could be a tight bond.
Yeah, and I think that it's really good that there's some like cross-tribe bonds, because I feel like it could be very easy, especially in a setup like this, to just end up agonging the other tribe. So I'm glad that hasn't happened.
Exactly. Like it could have been set up to do that, so I'm glad as well. So, immunity challenge. I mean, for Fantasy Survivor, I said Taylor would win immunity, but because, you know, he has balance, he's a snowboarder, but alas, he did not win immunity. And I mean, I felt like Taylor could have won immunity this episode, but I am thinking he did not have like the actual like drive or like the, you know, like oomph to actually stay up there longer and win the challenge, because I feel like he was very well capable. Like we saw Will win last week. He had the drive and motivation to save his ass, but Taylor could have saved his ass this week, but fell off.
Speaking of like the drive and the motivation, I think that it's interesting that they were given the choice between like the food and the challenge, just because you really see who's there to like play. And I'm not saying anything against like Zeke or Will, because they obviously both had their reasons, and I think they were good reasons for like not for not participating. But I feel like something like that, where you choose to sit out of the challenge and eat instead, might not be the best choice for you, especially if you're trying to make your case at Final Tribal. So
no, yeah, exactly. It has like a double-edged sword. Like sit out because you know you would probably never ever win the immunity challenge against all these like balancy kind of people, or you play the immunity challenge and then you end up getting like first or second out where you could have eaten. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like I would never sit out of an immunity challenge. How about you?
I don't know. I feel like I would have sat out of this one just because when you know people are snowboarders and you know people are surfers, it's like those things require balance. And I know that personally, like I have, but not enough balance where I'd be able to do the bow thing while also standing on the balance beam. So I feel like that if you don't think you're going to be able to win this challenge, you might as well give yourself a better shot for the next challenge. So.
Nah, yeah. And I mean, something like this is very risky. I felt like this could have been a very risky move for Will. Like, if he were to get voted out this week because he knew he was on the chopping block last week, he would get voted out of $1 million show for freaking grilled cheese and soft drinks because there's no alcohol for Will. Jeff mentions this 2 times this episode. There is no alcohol for Will. But I mean, I don't know, maybe Will just felt that the target would be on Jay and Taylor that night, but I mean, he knows Jay has an idol, so technically Will could have been idled out if the votes went that way.
Yeah, but also a note to the people who are asking why Will couldn't drink beer, because the legal limit in Fiji is 18. When you're on Survivor, you still have to follow United States laws. So even if the drinking limit in the country that you're in is lower, you still have to follow the United States law of 21. Just a fun fact.
And so we see Jay and Taylor and Ken are the last 2 guys up there. And I feel like low-key Jay was probably hoping that Taylor would lose, so then, you know, Jay could potentially keep the idol because he might know Taylor is more of the annoying one around camp that would be targeted more than Jay. Because the Jay versus Will situation, Jay would probably get more of the votes than Will, so Jay would have to use the idol. So I feel like low-key Taylor, and Jay low-key wants Taylor to not win.
Yeah, and I feel like in Survivor, it's kind of like that all the time, where you low-key, even your allies, there are sometimes where you'd rather not win, not have them win, so.
Yeah, so Ken wins individual immunity, whoop whoop, but he doesn't get any confessionals this episode. Like, we see him get like falling and getting hurt and stuff like that, but we don't actually see him ever get a confessional. And like, it's been the past few episodes where he's gone confessionalless
without confessionals.
Confessionless, yes. Which is,
it's like you go.
Oh, I don't know. Which is like, I don't know. Might not be good for his winner's chances.
Bode well for his future in the game.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. So, I mean, I don't know, because Ken came out of, like, started very strong in the game, getting a lot of confessionals and a lot of screen time, and now he's sort of died back. But if he starts to, like, get more screen time and pick it up again, I think he could still potentially have the chance to win the game.
I don't feel like he's getting very much of a winner's edit. Like, just from my perspective, it seems like he's more like the best friend character rather than the main character. So
you think it's a Fishback and like Jeremy, or Fishback and JT kind of thing, but the JT Jeremy will be David, and then the Fishback will be Ken. So it's like a reversal this time.
Yeah, they're like reversed roles. Yeah, like
that'll be funny. That would be actually very interesting to see. Wow. So before Tribal, I mean, we see the whole majority of 9 people like get together on the beach to talk, and I thought that was like very good of them. They like invited everyone over, so it's like everyone has an equal chance to talk. You know, everyone's voice is being heard. No one's being left out. No one is being like force-fed the information later. But they all talked, and then we see Sunday and Brett like talking separately about getting Jessica out later. I thought it was good that they like talked together, but then they could split up, and then they would all get back together and do the plan.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes it can be, I don't want to say dangerous, but like when you let members of your alliance go do their own thing and you're worried about what they're doing, maybe you don't have a solid of an alliance as you thought you did. So I think it was good that they were able to do that.
Yeah, and we see the whole like Sunday Jay thing, like their closeness show, because Sunday basically tells Jay the plan of what everyone is doing. And I feel like Jay probably also low-key wants Taylor to blow everything up at Tribal or like before Tribal so that Taylor is the one voted out because he blew Tribal up.
Yeah, and I feel like just as a rule, I feel like Tribal is the wrong time for all of this to come out, just because you don't really get as much time to turn everything over and stuff. And it's like, I feel like if Taylor had dropped the bomb, that like Adam had the reward vote when Adam wasn't right there sitting there ready to defend himself, might have been like, it might have been more potent, and he would have maybe gained a little more ground if he could have more time to like argue and sow the seeds of paranoia and stuff. So,
yeah, I feel like it goes back.
It was just wrong to win. Yeah.
I feel like it goes back to the whole like motivation and drive thing, because in one of like the secret scenes or something like that, or in an interview or something, Jay and Taylor said like they plan to drop the bomb at Tribal, and I feel like Taylor knows he's on a sinking ship and he might like not have the motivation or whatever to get himself out of the sinking ship, so he wants to take Adam down with him. So like he goes out guns a-blazing, which is something like low-key would be super fun to do, like fuck up everyone's game while you're getting voted out, to do something like that. But I would never have like enough courage to do so. But I mean, we don't see Taylor really go and try to persuade people to vote like Adam out or something like that. They just want, I feel like, doing it at Tribal, Taylor knew he's going home. He's like, I'll take the sword for us, Jay. I'll be the one to leave, and Jay, you're here for me. And then Taylor's going to be the one to go. But while Taylor's leaving, he messes up Adam's game as well.
Yeah, I feel like this definitely benefited Jay a lot more than it benefited Taylor. And I guess it's kind of like had a pretty strong friendship if Taylor was willing to do that, because if he had scrambled, he might have been able to like turn the tide so it was Jay, because you could make the argument that Jay is a lot stronger of like a like physical game, and Taylor could obviously also make the argument that Jay is a lot stronger mental game. Like you can be like, hey, I'm really stupid.
Yeah, and like Taylor's been playing the whole dumb surfer or dumb snowboarder thing the entire time. And I mean, nice for them. They're such bros that Taylor would get voted out for Jay, I guess. But I mean, I think if I were Adam in this situation, like the logical response would be like to act like Adam did at Tribal. I would be freaking out because Taylor is spreading blatant lies about you at Tribal Council, which is so dangerous. And I mean, at Tribal, when the advantage thing did come out, I truly feel that Adam should have like just gotten rid of the advantage right then and there.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a very like move if Adam had just like gone up and thrown into the fire or something. That would have been cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like people realize it's like a dumb advantage. I mean, the only leverage Taylor had was about stealing the loved one's visit and stuff like that. But I mean, stealing someone's burger, like, you can win another burger.
Yeah, and I think especially since there haven't been loved ones visits, that might be eh. And then Adam can also like make the argument, hey, my mom is dying. She's a huge Survivor fan. I would keep this and only use it if I could use it on the loved ones visit.
Yeah, exactly.
My dying mom wants to go on a loved one visit in Survivor.
Yeah, and I felt like David said it correctly, like this is a nail in the head for one of you two. And I mean, food is probably like a touchier subject because all these people are starving, and like Taylor's being a greedy ass hiding food when everyone's starving. Like half the tribe didn't get to go on reward and eat. Other people ate at the immunity challenge, but some of these people have not gone on any food rewards yet. So I mean, everyone's hungry, everyone's cranky, and maybe like doing like sneaky things like stealing food is probably a big no-no.
Yeah, and I feel like especially those people who didn't get to go on the reward challenge, because Taylor not only has all this extra food, but he also got to go on the reward. So it's like, that just really sucks.
Yeah, so he like double messed up everyone. And I feel like also during Tribal, we see Jay saying he's not just another dumb surfer, LOL, sorry, Taylor, but like he has dreams and goals. And I felt like this was very akin to that other scene before when Jay was talking about winning Survivor for his family, like better the lives of his family. And I feel like, you know, we're seeing a lot of that from Jay. Like, he's not the stereotypical millennial stereotype, even though Jay does say some of the stereotypical millennial stereotype things. He says he's not like that kind of thing, I feel like.
Yeah, and I feel like it's one of those things where you can definitely try to separate yourself from the stereotypes, but you also don't want to separate yourself too much. So kind of hanging in the middle, like where Jay is, might be good for him. So
yeah. And I mean, Jay, very, very ballsy at Tribal, not playing the immunity idol. I guess, like, someone could have tipped it off, like, which way the votes were going. Or, like, he just felt that Taylor would be the one to receive more votes. So, in the end, it was a 7-4-1 vote with Taylor voting Adam and not Taylor voting Jay. But Will voted Jay, and Jay voted Taylor.
yeah, I feel like Will might have not known which way the vote was going, and he just voted for whoever he thought might get more votes. So, in the end, I don't think it mattered as much.
Yeah, I feel like Will realizes that the ship he is on is sinking, so he needs to get off it and like leave Jay and Taylor behind, which brings us to next time, I guess, because the preview, it's a double 2-hour episode next week, so 2 eliminations is going to be freaking awesome. And we see that Will basically tells everyone that Jay has an idol, and it spreads. And there's Gen X warfare. So, Alyssa, do you want to go first on what you think?
Well, for one thing, I think that it's really funny. Like, just the fact that everyone's like, I feel like this happens a lot in real life too, where people are like, don't tell anyone. And then they're like, it's okay, I won't. And it's like, I will tell my one favorite person and they won't tell anyone and the secret will stay safe. But then it's like, fast, man. 3 can keep a secret if 2 are dead. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or like, telling even one person, even if you think you can trust them completely, it can implode very quickly.
So what do you have predictions for next week, or I wrote mine down?
I don't really know what to think about next week, so no.
Okay, so I had some time during class the other day, and I wrote my little scenarios. I've got 4 different scenarios here, so I'll go through them. Scenario 1 of what could happen. I was trying to think ahead, Alyssa. Scenario 1 is Gen X warfare, and there are 6 Gen X and 5 millennials now. So, like we were talking about earlier, like that whole numbers thing, it works out. So I feel like there is like the majority can take out one of their own if they want, because I feel like the whole millennial versus Gen X theme, like they're not going to be working in the 6-5 at least next vote. So, but I mean, also they technically, there is no need for the Gen Xers to take out another Gen X person because it is 6-5. They could pagong all of the millennials, but I really don't see that happening. So scenario 1 of Gen X warfare, I really felt there are 2 sides for this. There are the 3 of Ken, David, and Jessica. Then there are the 3 of Chris, Brett, and Sunday. Then sort of in the middle, we have another 3 of Zeke, Adam, and Hannah. And then we have a 2 in the middle, which are Jay and Will. And then I really felt that Adam and Hannah would work with the Ken, David, and Jessica side because Adam worked with and then for the Chris Brett Sunday side, I think Jay and Will will go to that side because they worked with each other on the SWAT tribe. And then I really feel like Zeke is going to be the deciding factor if this scenario worked out. And I mean, he could go with the Ken, David, Jessica, Adam, Hannah side because that's the nerd side and he knows David has the idol. Or he could go with the Chris, Brett, Sunday, Jay, and Will side because he has the whole Oklahoma thing with Chris. So I think that's scenario 1. Then scenario 2, I mean, someone could play the idol for someone else because there are 3 idols in play. But I mean, I don't see Adam or Jay playing their idol for someone else. I really feel like David in this situation would play the idol for someone else because this is like a 6-5 split. It's sort of interesting. You need to keep the numbers on your side because it could be 6-4 next time, depending which side goes, or it could be a 5-5 split, which makes it very hard next time to like break the tie. And I mean, so I think David could play the idol for Jessica if it's the whole Jessica versus Sunday or Jessica versus Brett, Chris taking out one of those things. But I mean, then Jessica has like 0 chance of actually winning the game because she's been saved 2 times, and that's not like very good gameplay. And I mean, I don't know. Or there could be no idol play because there's no need. If you're in the 6 side, you're already in the majority. You just take out someone from the 5 side. And I mean, 5-5, that'll just be hard, a rock jar. Something has to change. And so scenario 3, there could be an idol frenzy against Jay because Will realizes it is between him and Jay to go home. Like, he might think it's between him and Jay to go home, so he wants to start drama so that Jay is the one to go home. But then this is like sort of weird because everyone knows Jay has the idol. They need to like figure out how to flush the idol while vote for someone else. Like, if Jay plays the idol, then Will is 100% gone if they split the votes that way. But they could split the votes a different way so it's not like super obvious. And like, I don't really see this happening on a 6-5 split or like a 5-5 split because, like, I don't know. It'd be too obvious to vote for Jay because you know he has the idol, and then that group can vote out someone from your group because he idols you out. So, I mean, it's too obvious now for Jay to play the idol because everyone who isn't with Jay will be hurt by the result of, like, the random idol play to be voted out. So it'd be better if it were a random idol play. And I don't know. It'd be like an easy vote to vote out someone who 100% doesn't have the idol next week, like a Sunday or a Jessica, rather than risk like your own life voting out Jay who has an idol. Or you could accidentally target someone who has an idol, like Adam, because he's been on the chopping block, and that goes to my last scenario. Scenario 4 is the idol frenzy against Adam. And because, like we said, Alyssa, Adam has no like real alliances. He's been targeted in the past. He has an idol. He like hears his name on the chopping block, and I don't think it'll be a 10-1 vote. But I mean, Adam, because he doesn't really have any alliances, will probably tell some people he has the idol in order to like gain some trust and get people to go with him. But I mean, I think he should tell Jay and Will to like hook up with them and work with them. But he'll probably tell someone like Hannah, who will then like blab it on to Zeke, who will tell everyone else. And then they'll split the vote between Adam and Will, and Will is going to be screwed over again. But I mean, overall, I think there's a big idol play coming up in the near future. I feel like it'll be, if Adam or Jay plays an idol, I think the other one will probably play the idol at the same tribal council.
I feel like another scenario that you didn't mention would be like just a nice clean blind side, because I feel like, especially in the game's current climate, it would be really easy to believe that several of these players would be going home. So if you told the right people about who you were voting for, I feel like you could execute a blind side and then send someone home with an idol in their pocket. So
Yeah, I am super excited for this week. It's going to be a nice 2 hours.
Yeah, and then after that we can go to sleep and then wake up and eat turkey all day. So
Woot woot.
I'm excited.
Yay, it's so crazy. The season is ending. Wow.
Yeah. And so we'll see you guys all next week. We'll probably be doing Friday again. Please comment below and say what you're thankful for this Thanksgiving, because we are very thankful for you and for our channel and for everything that we get to do related to Survivor. So we want to hear from you too.
We will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.